Hello, welcome to What's Next with Danny Coleman and Maryann Castello. Unfortunately, Maryann can't be with us this evening, but she will be back next week. What's Next is brought to you by the City of Angels Recovery and Addiction Program, from where we are recording this program this evening. So we always like to acknowledge the City of Angels as well as a recovery spot, New York City. Dr. Sony and Dr. Bienenfeld, our good friend Jay Petsko up there. I want to say hello to them. Monmouth Music, 30 Monmouth Street in Red Bank, New Jersey. Hello, Mario. Thank you for your sponsorship. As well as Neos Zoe Health and Wellness Center of Cranford, New Jersey. Maryann is the proprietor of that. And I want to say hello to our good friends Eileen Sullivan and Jody Weber, who have also supported this program through their generous donations to the City of Angels. Now tonight we have a show that I am very excited about. We have first of all, we have a very young artist on tonight, Lauren Pelaia. Lauren Pelaia is with us this evening. An astounding vocal ability from Lauren, and I cannot wait. And you should stick around and cannot wait to hear her, as well as author Kaya John. She is the author of When Life Sends You Lemons, Make Lennon Aid, as in John Lennon. She has a tragedy to triumph type story. She wrote a book about her abusive childhood and how she overcame it. And stick around because it's a very, it's an interesting interview, and it's something that I really wanted to do because the book is fascinating. Again, that's Kaya John. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't say hello to our good friend Kevin Cherry and Long Branch Cable Channel 20. Hello, guys. Thank you for welcoming us into your home once again this week. We greatly appreciate your support here on What's Next with Danny Coleman and Maryann Castello. Stick around because first we have Lauren Pelaia with her song Try to Love You, because that's What's Next. We'll be right back.
Are you constantly living with dysfunction in your life? If so, there's help. Neo Zoe, New Life Through Balanced Living, is a very unique holistic wellness company that's here to help you preserve a healthy balance and eliminate any dysfunction. We use an individual approach through nutrition, massage, and various other holistic practices. You can restore your optimal health and a healthy lifestyle. Visit us on the web at neozoe.com or call us at 732-713-0123.
You're the freedom I always took for granted. You're the bravery I never feared I'd live without. There are cracks in our foundation that affect all of creation. And I know I must be strong. In the morning, things will be changed forever. So for now, I'll feel your warmth through the night. Lay your body right next to mine. Let your eyes look right through my eyes. And I know I must move on. And there's so much more to say, but too little words we can find. So baby, hold me while we have tonight. And there's so much more to do in so little time. So baby, love me while we have tonight. While we have tonight. I measure our time with each heartbeat. 'Cause tomorrow I know we'll be miles apart. We were history in the making, the future was ours for the taking. And I know this is how we're meant to move on. And there's so much more to say, but too little words we can find. So baby, hold me while we have tonight. And there's so much more to do in so little time. So baby, love me while we have tonight. While we have tonight. But too little words we can find. So baby, hold me while we have tonight. And there's so much more to do in so little time. So baby, love me while we have tonight. While we have tonight. Ooh. Tonight.
Since 1987, Monmouth Music has served the local music community of Red Bank from their location at 30 Monmouth Street in the center of historic downtown Red Bank, New Jersey. Owner-operated, Monmouth Music provides lessons of all levels, beginner through professional, as well as brand-name instruments and a repair service. For all of your musical needs, go to Monmouth Music. That's Monmouth Music, 30 Monmouth Street, Red Bank, New Jersey. All right, everybody, welcome back to What's Next. Our first guest, you just heard, Lauren Pelaia. Hello, Lauren. How are you?
I'm
It is
good.
so nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you. You came highly recommended. Highly recommended by our friend Helen
Yes.
O'Shea, who is an incredible talent in
Yeah,
herself.
definitely.
Have you heard her new album?
Yes, I have.
It's great, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's good stuff. So where are you from, Lauren?
I'm like kind of smack in the middle of Monmouth County in Marlborough, New Jersey.
Okay, Marlborough, New Jersey. Well, it's awesome. Well, thank you for making a trip. It's not that far, though.
Yeah.
It's only down the road.
Yeah, it was
but,
easy.
That's okay. That's great. Keyboard player.
Mm-hmm.
You also play guitar.
I do.
Which one came first? The chicken or the egg?
Piano came first. I got a piano in 3rd grade and just was plunking out Twinkle Twinkle by ear, and I didn't
Okay.
start learning until 8th grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What made you want to take piano lessons?
Actually, I didn't start with lessons. I started teaching myself.
Okay.
I love to sing, and I hated being held back when I was at home to karaoke tracks. So I just went to Google. You can learn anything on there, and just started learning how to play piano. I only took lessons for 3 months, and the rest of it I did myself.
And the rest you did yourself. See, that is the amazing thing about today's technology is that, you know, when I was a kid, when dinosaurs also roamed the earth, you know, you had to find a teacher, and you had to find a teacher you liked, and you had to learn, and you had to, you know, now you can just, like you said, go to Google, go to YouTube, go, okay, yeah, and bang, there it is, literally at your fingertips. So, in 8th grade, so you started tinkering around. Did you come from a musical family, or?
No, actually, neither of my parents sing, but my brother sings too, and we kind of just came out of nowhere.
Can't figure it out.
Yeah.
We have an incredible voice.
Thank you so much.
You're very, very strong, and that was a great tune. Now, how long have you been writing your own original music?
I've actually only been writing my original stuff for a little over a year, like a year and 5 months maybe.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
fairly new.
And what made you want to start that? Because we were talking a little bit before we came on, we were talking a little bit about, you know, you mentioned Adele, you mentioned Lady Gaga, you mentioned, you know, all the heavy hitters of the last 5 or 6 years. What made you want to start writing your own material? Just curious.
I've tried in the past, but nobody would ever want to hear my little songs that I made.
Why do you say that?
Oh, they were just cheesy. And I think I guess a year and a half ago, I was finally able to articulate myself in I guess such a vulnerable way that people started to receive.
Okay.
And since then, I feel like it started to build and improve.
You know, I've been seeing a lot lately. There's so much I want to say to that statement you just made, starting with cheesy. But I've been seeing a lot lately about vulnerability. Facebook posts, Twitter feeds, things, you know, posters. It just seems like I keep seeing the word vulnerability everywhere. Whereas it was once considered a weakness, apparently, many people now view it as a strength. Because if you're able to put yourself out there, even though there's vulnerability, people admire you for that, or they look at you and or they're willing to help, or you know, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
To me, though, I think if you're going to be an artist of any sort, whether it's painting or singing or composing or you know whatever it is you're going to do in the artistic field, acting, you've got to be willing to be vulnerable.
Yeah, of course.
Because every time you get rejected, and you will get rejected, you know, you're not going to pass an audition. You're not, you know, you've left yourself vulnerable to hurt. To you know, you're there. It's all out on the table, and you're weak or you're you know whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So I think being vulnerable allows you to become a better artist because you learn
Yeah.
from those times where you put yourself out there and you were vulnerable and somebody took advantage or somebody took you down or somebody didn't think you were good enough. You know, how do you deal with that? Because I know you're doing a little acting too, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely, I started off really with musical theater and then kind of brought this aspect to life. I feel like vulnerability is something that you do when you put yourself out there in any artistic sense or anything in life. But I feel like when that becomes really genuine, and instead of me trying to write a song about somebody else's life story and writing it about mine, I'm giving somebody my story. And they, no matter what, whether it's good or bad, they're going to receive that because people, the only way we can communicate around the world is with our emotions. And it's finding strength in your vulnerability. I think because I'm at a point where I feel like my vulnerability is something I'm proud of. If somebody rejects it, I can walk away from that and be like, I did good for myself. And that's what keeps me
That's a
going.
good attitude. See, that's a good attitude. Now, and you mentioned earlier cheesy. Engineer Art might remember. Art, you remember the 1910 Fruit Gun Company?
I do.
Talk about cheesy. The 1960s were full, and 70s were full of cheesy one-hit wonders, they were called, right? Songs like Yummy, 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 I've Got Love in My Tummy. I mean, you know, where did Red Rubber Ball?
Yeah.
They were just tons of people who, they were called one-hit wonders because, boom, one song and that's it. You never heard from them again.
Yeah.
So, and they were pretty cheesy.
Yeah.
They were pretty cheesy. So, as an artist, I don't think you can ever be afraid of what you're putting out there. Because so many people come to me on my radio program that I do, Rock on Radio, and they say to me, oh, you know, I wrote this song when I was about 15. And I'm looking at them, and they're 40-something now. And they're like, you know, and I decided to revisit it and rework it, and this is what happened. So you can never, you know, cheesy has its place.
Yeah.
And it may ferment down the road, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. I still keep those diaries. I look through them and I'm like, ooh.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Locked away, collecting dust.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I've got socks that are older than she is. You know what I'm saying? But it's a tough business.
Yeah.
When you write your material, what are you trying to gear it towards?
My target audience?
Or what is your goal when you write a song? Is it to be discovered and tour the world, a la AKA Lady Gaga?
Yeah.
Or is it to say, you know what, this would sound really good in that television show or that? I mean, licensing versus performance. What is it that you like to do?
For me, it's more performance rather than giving out material that I've written. And of course, it'd be amazing to have all of that fame that she has. But I think to write a song with that goal in mind, it's not going to turn out the way you want it. Okay. So when I write a song, it's really just to tell my story because I know that. And a lot of it I keep kind of vague because I feel like it's more relatable in that sense. And so it's like, here's my story that I know other people can relate to. So I'm saying it out loud so you don't have to and you don't feel alone.
I think that's the key. You know, I saw written somewhere that, what was the thing? Music can take you when you're sad or when you're happy. Music will make you dance, and when you're sad, you understand the lyrics or something like that. You know, there are songs that I remember we all have when growing up or from, you know, years ago, situations, you know, love lost or a death or something. You know, the sad songs are always easier to write.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, they are.
But there are always songs that evoke memories. Some good, some bad. Some that can, you know, there's a song by Van Morrison called "Into the Mystic" that when I heard the song growing up, I was, you know, great tune, love it. And then I had a daughter. And my daughter, who's now 22, one night woke up crying and fussing, and she was like 2 months old, 3 months old, wouldn't take a bottle, wouldn't eat, wouldn't nothing, you know, and I'm rocking her, I'm trying her, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm trying everything. Because my now ex-wife was upstairs sleeping because it was the weekends were mine. She got Monday to Friday, I got the weekends, you know. And there was a movie on starring Johnny Depp, and I can't remember the actress's name, but it was called Benny and June. Okay. And Into the Mystic is in that movie, and all of a sudden it started playing. And my daughter, within seconds, just shushed and went right out.
Wow.
So whenever she would fuss or muss, I would put that song on and she would go right out.
That's amazing.
And, you know, I hear that now. She's 22. She getting ready to graduate college in another month and a half. I hear that song on the radio and I get lost.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of emotion that a lot of people look for. Is that the kind of thing you're looking for when you write music, I guess is what I'm saying.
I think to make somebody feel something is beyond incredible.
Right.
The fact that somebody's music and somebody's voice can cause somebody to feel something, that's crazy.
Now, you mentioned earlier, too, actually, and I think that's the goal of music in general. And that's what it does. It brings people together.
Yeah.
You know, it really does. You know, it's kind of like two kids in a sandbox. One whacks the other one in the head, starts crying. 2 seconds later, they're playing together again. You know, music is that way.
Yeah.
You know, it transcends generations and it transcends race and religion and creed and color and so on and so forth. So, you mentioned to me, though, before we started that you take vocal lessons. How long have you been doing that?
I started doing that how many years ago now? I'd say probably 5 or 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
And go ahead, you give your teacher a plug.
Richard Bozick in Highland Park. You can look him up. Oh my gosh. Before I went to lessons, I asked a friend for a referral. I saw him and to this day, I cannot believe everything that he has done. It is absolutely bizarre. It's crazy how much my range has expanded, just my overall confidence in performing, and just all the technique and emotion that I wouldn't have if I didn't work with him. And it's not like there's a stopping point. Like, you can keep learning and keep getting better.
Right.
And it's so exciting.
So think back to your first vocal lesson.
Yeah, I remember
Okay.
it.
Were you scared when you walked in? Nervous?
Yeah, and I remember my first day, I was like, he already made me better. It was crazy. Because
What did he do?
I was kind of just like a stand and scream kind of girl and see how high I could go. And I was singing Someone Like You by Adele. And there's a little op down that she does that's not as high. And immediately he was like, okay, you got to sing it the normal way. And he taught me the proper technique to start to mix your voice. And it just blossomed from there. And my range started to expand in such a healthy way. I see sometimes other people singing and I'm able to be like, oh, like, please take care of your voice.
Yeah, so you go from, it's funny how fast you go from student to coach.
Yeah.
You know, once you start to learn things. So do you have a band that performs with you? Do you always perform solo?
I usually play by myself, and I'll bring the group of instruments and just switch back and forth between piano, guitar, ukulele.
Where do you perform?
Really anywhere that'll take me.
Yeah,
I'm
I know that
playing
feeling.
next week at a place in Belmar.
Okay, where?
It's called The Working Artist. It's a bunch of people kind of showing their small businesses and musicians kind of playing at the event as well.
Okay. That's not at the Belmar Arts Council, is it?
No, it's
Oh,
not.
okay.
It's not. I know somebody who is running the event, and they contacted me, and I've actually been working on 2 music videos lately, so all my
Okay.
time has been...
Are you doing those yourself or somebody shooting them with you?
It's a whole group of people that kind of came together and is pulling this off with me. It's been really amazing. It's not going to come out till end of May, early June, but it's been taking up a lot of time, and I'm so excited. It's so crazy to see how much work has gone into it and waiting to see that final product.
Do you have websites, social media?
Yeah.
How do we find you?
You can find me
Pelaia?
at laurenpelaia.com or Lauren Pelaia on Facebook, Lauren_Pelaia on Instagram. My YouTube channel is Lauren Pelaia.
And how do you spell Pelaia?
It's Pelaia.
There you go, Pelaia. So, other than that, any other gigs or?
No, just look out for those music videos because they're gonna be pretty awesome.
Okay. Now, are you still acting?
I haven't done a show since last April.
Okay.
Because I've been focusing so much on my writing.
Right.
But I would totally take any opportunity to be in another show.
You see that out there?
Yeah.
Lauren Pelaia. Well, you're going to perform for us again
Yes.
in a little bit toward the end of the show. So, and we'll get back to that. But Lauren, thank you so much
Thank you for having
for
me.
making the trip. You going to stick around, or are you going to head
sure.
out? All right.
Yeah,
Well, you're
I'd love
welcome to
to.
stick around if you want, because up next we have a very. This is an interview that I'm very much looking forward to. A woman by the name of Kaya John, who wrote a book called "When Life Sends You Lemons, Make Lennon Aid," as in John Lennon. And stick around because you're going to really want to hear this one. That's what's next. We'll be right back. Thank you, Lauren, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If addiction, pain disorders, and mental health issues control your life, and you are ready for change, the Recovery Spot offers expert outpatient care for addiction, pain disorders, and mental health issues. We offer focused, high-quality treatment specifically designed for you. The Recovery Spot, we offer new hope for those suffering from pain and addiction. www.recoveryspotny.com. We're located in New York City.
All right, welcome back to What's Next. Our next guest is an author. And what else are you besides an author? Or just an author?
I'm a retired massage therapist.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, you guys never get to retire. She is the author of When Life Sends You Lemons, Make Lemonade. Welcome, Kaya John. Hey!
Thank
With
you.
Kaya John, the studio audience has increased. Who'd you bring along with you?
My husband, my friends, Franco and Maureen,
There you go.
and my new friend.
And your new friend Lauren, that's right. Maureen is your publicist,
Yes, she is.
correct? And Maureen sent Kaya to me, and I've done write-ups on books and authors before, but your story really hit me. It hit me hard because what there's what's that old saying? Play the hand that's dealt, and you not only played the hand that you were dealt, but you wound up winning the jackpot because you made it through what was happening, which this is a great book. So, okay, go ahead. Tell us about why you wrote this book.
Well, it actually started out, an intuitive told me that I was going to write it. And then I had a couple of dreams. And then I had a dream about John Lennon. Can I read that?
Sure,
Okay.
sure, of course you can. Now, I did a write-up for New Jersey Stage and New Jersey Arts magazine about Kaya and this book, and again, I was fascinated enough to say, you know what, you need to come on my YouTube show. So go ahead.
Okay. So I had this dream. Yoko and I are standing beside a car that has John Lennon sitting in the driver's seat. He is saddened, feeling the world did not receive his message as deeply as he intended. He feels he has failed. All he did and said, and people still don't get it. What can be done? Slowly, a large tear falls from each of his eyes. I turn towards Yoko and ask if I can wipe John's tears away. She gives me permission. I lean in and am deeply struck by how close I am to this man's face, the man who I so admire and feel so grateful to. I can see the texture of his skin, the pores on his familiar face. I take my hand and I wipe the tears away. I awake. I feel the dream's truth and realness. I lay calm, feeling emotion flow through my body. It is time to get writing. So, I had a difficult childhood. My mother was schizophrenic. I experienced violent sexual abuse from my father. So the first years of my life were pretty bleak. And then the Beatles came. And the joy and the wisdom in their lyrics offset all the pain that I was experiencing and showed me that there was true love and joy in the world. And so I started a quest that I was going to change my life and that my life was going to become one that was worth living. And that very much happened for me, and a lot of it was through the wisdom in the Beatle lyrics, and especially John once he became a solo artist. And life went on to have some great surprises for me because I started to have psychic experiences connecting
Okay.
with the Beatles.
Well, you failed to tell me that part.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get to it when I
Okay.
read the book.
Okay. So I started to dream Beatles songs before they came out, which was rather amazing. And then, even at the time of John's passing, he appeared to me shortly after he had passed on. I did not know that he was gone. So I had some very dramatic connections with him. And then eventually life led me to actually connecting with his family. And I spent some time in his home. I met Yoko. I spent some time with Sean. So this kind of whole magical path opened up before me. And within the book, I talk a lot about how John and Yoko's events, their bed-in, their wonderful War is Over, If You Want to campaign, affected me on a very personal level. And I really just use them as wisdom teachers. And they help me open myself spiritually. They help me transform myself emotionally. And I just owe everything to him and to Yoko and to all of the Beatles for making sure that I had a great life.
So, I mean, not to drag it up again, but to recap. So you grew up with abusive parents, and you endured things that a child should never have to endure. And instead of turning to drugs, alcohol, the streets, prostitution, whatever would happen to somebody who had what happened to you, you chose the Beatles. You chose Beatle music, and because I remember you telling me, because it spoke to you. It was joyful, the rhythm, the lyrics, everything made you happy, and it was your escape from the reality that you were living. As you all know from watching this show, this is done from the City of Angels Studios, as I say earlier at the start of the program. And the City of Angels is an addiction and recovery program that help kids that can't handle the things that happened to Kaya John and become drug addicts or alcoholics, or they live on the streets, or what gave you that strength? I mean, I know you like the Beatles, but at some point there had to be a choice where you said, I need to escape this pain. Well, I think I'll listen to the Beatles.
That's right.
What made you choose that over, well, this kid at school said I could do this, or, peer pressure?
I can remember when my parents were fighting, I would go upstairs in my room and I would just put the Beatle music on, and I had just these speakers, we didn't have headphones yet, and I just put the speakers against my head and I wouldn't hear my parents fighting. I would hear Beatle music. That's just a little example
Of what happened?
of what happened. I just go in my room and I would just dance. It just gave me so much joy that it offset everything else that was happening.
So once you discover Beatle music and you get involved in it, and you told me as you grew older, you were in a John Lennon with three other ladies, right?
Oh, right, yes, we did a performance once of John's music.
And you were the first female act ever at Beatlefest?
Yes, we really were.
Gotta love that. And that's how the name Kaya John came about.
Exactly.
Right? So, are you a musician, or are you just a vocalist, or you just like to sing? I mean, what did you ladies do at Beatlefest?
We sang.
Okay.
A friend of mine played guitar. We sang. I'm not the world's best singer, but I got through a few songs.
Well, she's got a great voice teacher, Lauren, though.
Okay, there you go.
Look, the Beatles, it's funny, the Beatles, Lauren, and I'm looking at you, the Beatles were around from 1963 to 1970, right? I mean, I was born in '63, so I'm not. They're old, them guys, But even as a young artist, I'm sure you've played Beatle music before.
Yes,
right?
I have.
So the Beatles transcend generation. After my very first band I was in, the one guitar player insisted. We were 14 years old. He insisted that we had harmonies like the Beatles, and you know what? We never accomplished that. But the point is that he was such a Beatle fan that everything he wrote lyrically, you sound like it came off Rubber Soul.
Wow, wonderful.
Everything sounded like, if his slow stuff sounded like "And I Love Her." So I mean, it just well, I'm not even sure what album that's on, but I get the
Hard
point.
Day's Night.
So there you go. So. Thank you. So actually, another funny story about that is the singer, when he first sang it, we have the first tune we ever recorded, and instead of singing "A Love Like Ours," he sang "I Love My Car."
Wow.
by accident.
By
Yeah,
accident?
of course he was 14. I don't know why he was singing he loved his car. He couldn't even drive yet. But I digress. So, you know, the Beatles had such a formula. What was it for you? Was it the music or the lyrics? What drew you to them more?
It was absolutely both, because the music inherently just had such a joy, such a celebration of life, a love of life. And then the lyrics, especially as time went on, they started out normal love songs, but then they started to get into a much deeper message.
Okay.
Especially, you know, they started to deal with war and racism and every other source of suffering on the planet. And then John, once he left the Beatles, he took that to a real art form where he started to really transform himself and work with his pain and his issues, and then really campaigned for all of us to start to wake up and realize what's really important and how badly the world needs peace and love in a very real way.
Yeah. I'm not sure either you or I will ever see it in our lifetime, but we can only hope, you know.
Yeah.
Now, in your book, is this the only book you've ever written, or are there
Yeah.
more? Okay, because again, I began. You sent it to me several weeks ago, and I began reading it almost immediately, you know. But some of these chapters, and let me find my glasses here because they're stuck in my pocket, which never looks good at home, does it? And now they're all smudged. You know, of course, you know, you have your chapters here that speak of the Beatles, you know. John and Yoko, Beatle Bliss, the beginning. But the one that got me was this one right here, because I actually used it in my article, which you read,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
Right, Maureen? I think she read it, didn't she?
Yes.
Okay, good. The chapter is called My Birth. Full moon. And just the opening line, you killed me with this. No one was looking forward to my being born, perhaps least of all me. It was 1952, the height of American moral propriety, at least on the surface. My mother, already divorced with a son 10 years old, became pregnant with me. My father was in what he called a forced marriage to a woman who was pregnant with a child my father sometimes claimed as his. They were living with his mother, who controlled the family's substantial wealth. She was the one who had it. My father used it. He hadn't really totally figured out how to make enough on his own without her supplementing. No one was looking forward to me being born, perhaps least of all me.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough.
It is tough. It
That's
was a bad
tough stuff.
situation. My father was married with a pregnant wife and then got my mother pregnant.
Oh, okay.
It's a nasty situation. It was a tough situation.
All right.
And I feel that as a spirit, we know what we're getting ourselves into to a certain degree.
Right.
So I knew that I was in for a rough ride. So I knew that this lifetime was going to be challenging. And I'm sure there was a part of me that was resisting being born, but I was. And, you know, everybody did the best that they could. My father actually divorced the woman that he was married to, and then married my mother. But, you know, it's not an ideal situation for a marriage to start out in, to say the least.
Yes, yeah. I mean, today, and the sad thing is, today it's far more commonplace than it was in,
Yes, I
in
know.
that day and age.
Dad was quite a trendsetter.
You're choking me up, Kaya. So, yeah, I mean, so you had it rough from the get-go.
I had it wrong.
Now, how do you make that transition to a functional adult who, now you said to me that you had been well for many years before you met your husband, Robert, who was over there in the gallery. And how did you make that transition? How did you, will you ever be healed fully?
Well, of course. There's degrees. It's endless in some ways, but Lord knows it's good enough at this point. Actually, I read where John Lennon had gone through primal therapy. And he said that it puts you back into your feelings, and those feelings usually make you cry. And that struck me very deeply. So I felt that I needed to have some therapy, and primal therapy felt really right to me. And sure enough, I found an amazing therapist. Her name is Jacqueline Summers. She's from the Philadelphia area. She still practices now. And she really helped me save my life. She was an incredibly kind, skillful person who was willing to really take me under her wing. And she helped me so much. She's just a beautiful person, and so much happened for me when I went through primal therapy. And then the next thing I really did that was powerful was that I moved into a spiritual community. And I lived there for 7 years. And there I just learned a completely different way of taking care of myself, taking care of my body. I learned to meditate. I learned to really take care of myself, and just to learn a worldview that just made everything fall into place and make everything work. It was a very beautiful time. And I met some of the best people in my life there.
Well, just real quick, for people watching may not know, explain primal therapy.
It's considered somewhat of a radical therapy because it's more than talk therapy. You really get into your emotions. You cry, you scream, you cathart to the maximum. And it seems as if once you really start to get into deep feelings, there's almost like a wounded sound that comes out of you, which is what they call the primal scream. And it just takes you deeper than talk therapy ever will.
Okay.
And it really helps you get out the demons, shall we say.
Every now and then you'll see that it'll be in a movie.
Yeah.
Somebody will use primal therapy
Yeah.
in a movie,
Yeah.
you know. Any plans on writing another book?
I'm
How long
told-
did it take you to write this one?
Yeah, like over 20 years.
20 years, right?
Yeah, I've been told that I will. We'll see.
Ah, there you go. Now, websites, how do we find this book? How do we...
KayaJohn.com.
K-A-Y-A.
JOHN.com. It's also available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And I always have a few copies if you see me.
That's a beautiful thing. Like, you brought them in here. Matter of fact, Art, we should probably decorate the studio with these, I think.
It already is.
Oh, there you go.
It's a cheerful color.
Right? Now, with everything you've been through, before we wrap this up, look at that beautiful young lady sitting next to you, Lauren, right? Any advice for Lauren as she goes through life?
Oh, okay. Stay completely committed to yourself and your dream, no matter what gets thrown at you, no matter what disappointments you experience, and forgive a lot.
Thank you. So I really do admire you. That's an amazing story, and
I was going to say, do you have any questions
So,
for
but
Kaya? Go right ahead.
I'm astounded by your strength, and I think that's miraculous and beyond amazing that you can put yourself out in words.
Thank you. There's one other little piece, and that's a piece of forgiveness. And that I was fortunate enough through a very talented medium to have my parents come to me once they had both passed on, very humbled and very aware of what happened and very much apologizing. And I really want people to understand that even if people have passed on, they can still transform and heal a relationship.
Have you made amends with them?
Yes, Absolutely. I love them both very much. We're all human.
That we are.
Yeah.
That we are. Well, good for you, Kaya.
Thank you.
It has been. I could easily do 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours with her because I find this whole thing fascinating. Buy the book, people. When life sends you lemons, or when life sends you lemons, make lemonade. This was her journey, but after just reading the first several chapters, I could see how this could apply to all of us. So it's available where again?
On my website, kayajohn.com, and also Amazon and Barnes
And
and
Barnes
Noble.
and Noble, right. I wanted you to say it. Come on, you got to be the salesperson. And again, I want to thank Maureen. Thank you for sending her to me, and Franco and Robert. Thank you for bringing her tonight. This was something that I really enjoyed. I don't know if you enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it. That's what I'm going to say. So stick around because we'll be back with, we have another tune coming up from Lauren Pelaia, and then we'll close things up. So that's what's next. Kaya, thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Danny.
so much for making the trip. Thank you. Well, that's it. That's our show. That's what was next. Kaya John, Lauren Pelaia. I mean, she's incredibly talented. And Kaya, that story, I don't know. Again, the book is When Life Sends You Lemons, Make Lemonade. You know, to be able to find comfort and solace and in Beatle music as opposed to doing drugs or alcohol or turning to street walking or whatever it may be. I give her credit, I give her kudos, and she's overcome huge adversity. So that's kayajohn.com, and check that out. But right now, we're going to close the program with Lauren Pelaia once more and her song While We Have Tonight. That's what's next. We'll see you next week. Have a good night, everybody.
Are you constantly living with dysfunction in your life? If so, there's help. Neo Zoe, New Life Through Balanced Living, is a very unique holistic wellness company that's here to help you preserve a healthy balance and eliminate any dysfunction. We use an individual approach through nutrition, massage, and various other holistic practices. You can restore your optimal health and a healthy lifestyle. Visit us on the web at neozoe.com or call us at 732-713-0123.
I don't know where to even start. I don't know what to say or what to do. All I know is I can't get you off my mind. I hope you think of me as much as I think of you. To be honest with you, I'm petrified. 'Cause with a love like ours, the hell that we'll go through. All I've ever wanted, I see in your eyes. I can admit that I want you, and I hope you want me too. So love me, love me, and never, no, never let me go. Love me, please baby, love me, and I'll try, how I'll try to love you. I can't help but wonder if we are meant to be. Am I wasting my time just living a lie? Set me free. And maybe I'm crazy, yeah, maybe I'm mad, or maybe I'm just lonely for the life we could have. It's your touch that I miss, I've been craving your kiss. Can you blame me for feeling like this? Love me, love me, and never, no, never let me go. Love me, please baby, love me, and I'll try, how I'll try to love you. I didn't know that I could feel until I felt you. Try to love you.